Hi, on my last video I mentioned a book that I've been really loving, and I thought I would share with you a little bit about it and try to be quick about it because I want to go through a little bit of each tenet of the different chapters without giving too much away, but just to give you the idea of all the different things I love about it. Basically, this book is called 15 Things You Should Give Up to Be Happy. It's an inspiring guide to discovering effortless joy, and it's by Lumanita D. Saviuk, S-A-V-I-U-C. She is the creator of the purposefairy.com, and apparently these 15 things went viral when she put it on her blog. I'm not sure how long ago that was, but she made it into a book, and I have been loving this book. I've read it twice all the way through. I've made little notes to myself, and I've written down just a few things that I thought were very important about each one. So there are 15 things that she thinks that you should give up to be happy, and I completely agree with her 100%. So basically, in general, like I said, I give full credits to this incredible author, and I have gone onto the purposefairy.com to check things out there. It gives you a good look around, but the book is just full of very fantastic quotes from people and just information that really makes you think and really makes you decide what in your own life, from your past or your future or your present, rings true with these things that you should sort of give up in your life in order to be a much more happy person. So anyway, I just thought I'd share real quick, as quickly as I can. I'll try not to talk too much. Basically, chapter 1 is about giving up the past. And what that really means is if there's something awful in your past, if something happened to you, if you did something you're not proud of, whatever it is that happened in the past, give that up. Figure out that you've learned from it. Whatever happened made you stronger, or you realized how what you did wasn't the right thing and how you'd maybe change your ways now if that type of a situation ever presented itself. But your past doesn't have to equal your future unless you want it to, unless you allow it to, is basically what it's about. So appreciate the now. I have notes. Appreciate the now. Turn wounds into wisdom. You know, forgiveness is an act of strength. It's strong on your part to do forgiveness. So, you know, don't look at the faults, like who's at fault for what happened to this, whatever. Just look at the lessons that you learned from the past. So give up the past. It's over. You've learned from it in general. The next is to give up your fears. And this is really tough because fears are very limiting. They hold you back from all the things in your life that you could be accomplishing, you could be doing that really speak to your soul. So try to give up all those things that you're afraid of. What will people think of me? You know, the walls that we build around ourselves to keep, ourselves feeling safe so we're not afraid, to keep our fears away, those walls also keep a lot of the joy out. So if we can just somehow get ourselves to not be afraid, it'll make everything so much better. There's a fantastic quote in here by Steve Jobs that you'll have to read. It really speaks to you. Another one is to give up your limiting beliefs. The minute you believe you can't do something, you've completely stopped being able to, because what you believe happens. I truly am a believer of that. If you believe it, if you can conceive it in your mind and you have the strength and you give up your fears and you just say go for it, you can achieve it. It can happen. It may not happen the way you want it to. It may not happen the way you think it should happen. But many times if you just believe it, work hard, and let go of the rest, the universe finds a way to make it happen for you. So I truly believe that that's true too. Just give up all your limiting beliefs. The world needs you to be you. That's one of the quotes in here that I love. So don't try to be anything different. The world needs you to be you. Another one is to give up your excuses. That is so easy to say and so hard to do. We all have excuses for everything. I don't have enough time. I work too many hours. I don't have enough money. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not thin enough. Whatever those things are for whatever it is you want to do, try to give that stuff up. Stop yourself from saying or thinking, I can't, or I'm too busy. The world needs you to be you. Just start. Just take that first step. And there's a quote in there from Martin Luther King Jr. about, you don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. And then you take the next one. In the end, you're at the top of the stairs. So I love that quote. Another one is to give up your resistance to change. I have a family member who very, very much does not like change, fights at every chance this person gets, and it's limiting. It really limits your life. And life is a process of change. It's of different states and realities and thoughts and processes all happen during this time. And you can't stop at one of them. Life keeps going on. So if you try to stop because you're afraid of change, life goes on without you and you miss out on so much. So just, don't stop at one stage and stagnate. Just keep going. Make yourself keep going with the changes. And that's what that chapter is all about. Another one is to give up blaming. So easy to say, well, that's not my fault. Or if my boss wasn't so mean or, whatever. It's so easy for all of us, every single one of us, to do this kind of thing. But you know what? No blaming others. Not your parents, not your boss, not your children, not the president. Move yourself beyond your circumstances. Accept responsibility for who you become. And I think that's very powerful. It can be done too. And it's very, very powerful. Another one is to give up complaining. And that's also very hard to do. There was a quote in here that I highlighted because, who doesn't want to just kind of complain about something sometimes? It's by Maya Angelou. I love this quote. There were people who went to sleep last night, poor and rich, white and black, but they will never wake again. And those dead folks would give anything at all for just 5 minutes of this weather or 10 minutes of plowing. So you watch yourself about complaining. What you're supposed to do when you don't like a thing is to change it. If you can't change it, change the way you think about it. So I love that. Absolutely love that. So basically the idea is to just focus on the positive things. Don't feed the negative by complaining about it. I truly am a believer in what you think about comes about. You create it in your mind, it's going to come into your reality. So if you're constantly thinking negative things and complaining about the problems, what are you going to attract in your life? More problems, more negative things. The more you focus on and believe in and talk about the good things, guess what's going to attract into your life? More good things, more positive. So that's what I truly believe. So that one really does speak to me a lot. Another one is to give up the luxury of criticism. Here it says, basically, it's any fool can criticize someone and condemn and complain and stuff about someone else and someone's character. But it takes self-control, it takes integrity and character to be understanding and forgiving of someone else and how they're doing something, how you wouldn't do it that way, and that doesn't make sense to you, that's just stupid. Try to stop yourself off from criticizing. Try to just stop and not judge. Just realize that everybody's going through their own thing. Everyone comes from a different place. And just learn to love. We're all the same. We are all the same. And just learn to love and accept and agree. And just agree to disagree if you have to. But just try to give up that criticism. Because basically, the only people who criticize others are usually people who are hurt themselves. So like that saying is, hurt people hurt people. So it takes a hurt person to hurt another person, really. Happy people don't have time for that. They're not even thinking about, hurting someone else or saying something nasty. So that's a good one. Give up living your life according to other people's expectations. Wow, is this one a hard one? You don't want to upset your parents. You don't want to, you have your children think that you've lost your mind. You certainly don't want your spouse to think you're crazy. But as you grow and through your life, you change a bit. Do you want to do different things that you maybe didn't want to do when you were first married? Or you maybe want to do things now that you didn't really even think about when you were younger. But that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's different. It's not probably what your spouse or your parents or your children think that you might want to do, but just try to give that up because you need to live your authentic self. As long as you're not hurting anyone else, hopefully they will be accepting of that. Just always be yourself, express yourself, have faith in yourself. Do not go out and look for a successful personality and duplicate it. There's so much of that where people just try to be like someone else that they see is succeeding or they admire. They want to be like that person. And to some extent, sure, model yourself off of that in a way, but throw your own spin into it. Somehow be your own person in it. See if there's something that you can bring to the table that that person didn't. And again, the world needs you to be you, not to be a copy of somebody else that you know. Be you, It's like I do my thing, you do your thing. I'm not meant to live up to your expectations, and you're not, expected to live up to mine. So we just all respect each other's choices. And 10th chapter, give up your self-defeating talk. I know, easier said than done, right? But basically learn to forgive yourself. Learn to praise yourself for being the best you that you can be. Try not to constantly think of the things that are bad or the things that you want to change or the things that you wish weren't a part of you. Try to think of those things that you want to be, that you want to portray, that you want to give light to. Concentrate on those things and they will just happen. Learn to be your own best friend. Otherwise you become your own worst enemy. So that's what that's about. Next one is to give up control. I don't know if you're a controlling personality or not. I guess I might have been accused of that one time or two, not in a massively bad sense, but I generally like to know what's going on and how it's happening. And the reason so many people are unhappy and sick and stressed is because they're attached to trying to keep things the way they want them to be. If you give up all that, it just brings much more happiness, much more calmness, much more joy into your life. And just do your best. Set your intentions, work toward them, and let it go. So try to give up all the control in the world of every single thing. You can't control how others behave. You can only control how you respond to it, how it makes you feel, how you allow yourself to feel about how others behave. To an extent, obviously, you tell your children how to behave, but you know what I mean. Another chapter, give up the need to always be right. Anybody? Anybody out there? That's hard, because especially if you're strongly believe that I'm right about this, I know this was the way it was, try not to let your ego get in the way. It's so much better to be kind than to be right, and that is true. Agree to disagree. Everything will still be okay. If your husband swears it was, when you were on such and such a street, and you swear, no, that happened on another street, and what does it matter? Most things really, when you boil them down, don't really matter. Just agree to disagree. You don't have to be right, even if you know you are. It just invites kindness, and kindness gives you joy. So another one, give up the need to impress others. That's a big one. So many of us really try hard to make ourselves be the type of person that others will be impressed by, or, they'll think I'm special if I do this or say that or wear this or whatever. If you're trying to impress others, you lose your authentic self. To an extent, you want to put your best face forward. But if that's not your style, but it's everyone else's style, don't worry about trying to impress them with their style on yourself. That doesn't work. It's not authentic. Plus, only some people will be impressed by your attempts. You're trying to impress everyone. No one can impress everyone. So don't even try. Just try to be yourself. And in the end, you'll end up impressing more people than you thought, because they will really respond to how you're being you and you're being your authentic self. We all don't need to like the same things. There's enough to go around, and you weren't born to blend in. Don't be a copy of everyone else. You started this life as an original. I love that. 2 more. Give up labels. By this, we don't mean, like Starbucks, the labels of stuff, Louis Vuitton. It means give up putting people in categories. Give up putting people in boxes. Oh, she's heavy. Oh, he's ugly. Oh, she has a low-paying job. Oh, he's the president of this company, so he must be great. Try to give up putting labels on everything and everybody. We're all in this together. It shouldn't matter what their gender is, what their sexuality, their job, people are people. We are all one. We are all in this together. We all have our own unique gifts, and we all have our own struggles. Every single person you meet is struggling with something, so be kind to everyone. The people, places, and experiences aren't meant to be labeled and judged. They're meant to be loved and appreciated. So that's basically what that one is about. And once you label someone, you take away the chance to experience them as anything else. Once you've said, "Oh, that person's a this," well, then you've kind of stopped all possibility of thinking of that person as anything else. And that's sad. We're all more than one thing. Last chapter, give up attachment. I kind of find this to be the hardest one in many ways for my own personal life, because basically the whole idea behind it is that, all our miseries are nothing but, they come from nothing but attachment. And that's hard to understand, because to be attached to people and to be attached to loved ones and ideas and a home and a family and just all that stuff is, of course, people are attached. Those are the things we love and that mean a lot to us. So to a certain extent, I believe it's perfect to keep those things. But basically, nothing in life is yours to keep, is basically what this chapter is saying. Not your children, not your friends, not your youth, not your struggles. Everything in life is given to you for a short time. To love, to enjoy, to learn from, but never to keep. And I find that one to be so sad. But it's really true. You're born alone, you die alone. Everything else in the middle are the joys that you bring into it. Your friends, your children, enjoy them, love them while you have them. Your parents, they're not around forever. They're yours, but they're not really yours to keep. They're on their own journey. They're doing their own thing in their own world. We get to borrow these loved ones in our lives. We get to borrow our friends for a while. And we just try to find the joy in every single moment with them, because really, in all these things, none of it is really ours to keep. And, everything, love everything and be attached to nothing is the whole idea behind that one. So those are, generally speaking, might have been a little long, the 15 things you should give up to be happy. And of course, the book is filled with personal experiences and quotes and so much more than the tiny bit that I mentioned. But it's a really quick read. It's a simple read. It keeps you going. It doesn't seem like a textbook at all. It just all seems very insightful. And then you turn the page and then you have another little aha moment, and it brings you to a time where you felt this way or whatever. So I highly recommend this book. I am just loving every second of it. I put tabs in here for myself, and I will continue to reach for this whenever I'm feeling a specific struggle in one of these categories. But imagine how happy and joyful and just peaceful we'd all be if we could just give up a whole lot of these anyway. I hope any of that made sense to you, and I hope you give this a try. And let me know what you think of it if you do, because I just found it very, very fascinating, and I enjoyed every second of it. So thank you so much, and have a fantastic day. Bye.